When you in those type of environments, it creates cavities in your soul, in your vessel, in your heart. And in those cavities, when you in those desolate places like that, especially being incarcerated for a very long time, you know what inhabits those cavities? Darkness. A hatred for women or hatred for people, period. Like, you get confused and the frustration that goes on in their mind, because while they're in there, they're like, wait, hold up, wait, I don't like men. This is where the confusion starts at.
That's 100 points.
Everything I say, everything I do. All you seem to care about is who, what, when, and why.
Didn't even realize it. A lot of times we all blame one person. We get into this thing, we just blame one person. Oh, this person did this to me, this person did that to me, and all this other things. But I wonder why you attracted that person. Y'all most likely got some similar traits. Yours, you just hide yours well. And they ain't gonna like to hear that. You just hide yours well. I hid mine as well. It's a lot of things that I did with shut up. But to be honest with you, he needed me, I needed him. You know, he learned empathy, because even though I was an empath, there is a such thing as called a narcissistic empath. Because that empath hasn't had time to heal, and now he or she is now inheriting those narcissistic traits by being narcissistically abused. Relationship after relationship, year after year. You get what I'm saying? You are who you lay down with. You are who you lay down with. I feel like throughout the years, I had to really, every time when he hurt me, and no matter even if I stayed in it, and I'm not telling you to stay in your situation, you need to be smart. Take everything to God in prayer. But every time I stayed in it and he'll hurt me, I got a chance to explain to him how that made me feel. Because you got to understand, people with a lack of empathy can't understand the way you feel. They can't understand. They don't know how to feel. The emotions are masked. The emotions are they're falsely created. They only mimic what they see other people, how other people would feel, how they would react once they're hurt. But they don't know how to feel these emotions for themselves because they never experienced it. Something went wrong where they weren't able to express their emotions, whether in their adolescent age or growing up. Because, believe this or not, you have some people who lack empathy that you may be with, but actually loves you. But because they're working off of their own level of subconsciousness in the mind, their way of loving you may be toxic. That word is so overrated, y'all. It's used so loosely. But that is the correct word in this case. The love is toxic. A love that hasn't been matured yet. Especially dealing with a man, ladies, because I can't speak really from the women's. I can't. I'm not trying to speak for everyone. I'm assigned to what I'm assigned to because of what I went through, what I've overcome, what I'm still overcoming. Okay. A lot of the men that we deal with, especially in the Black community, have been incarcerated since an adolescent age, since puberty, growing up, being young men, getting into their teenage years, back to back. They were constantly incarcerated, whether juvie, camp, or whatever. If you're dealing with somebody like that in and out of jail, who has been in and out of jail, Usually when you look back on their lives, being incarcerated at such a young age, they grew up, puberty and everything, so they didn't know how to look at a woman physically and to know how to appreciate her because they didn't get to mature into that. They didn't get to mature in a healthy way into their sexuality. Like, wow, I'm turned on by a woman. So a lot of them, because he wasn't able to mature sexually, he's now hypersexualized with a lack of control, feeding his appetite whenever he can. It's like an insatiable hunger. The fantasy world, which is illusion, and reality, that line becomes vague, and now they start to act out of character, acting out these fetishes. It can end up on any side of the spectrum. Now we got rapists acting on impulses because they never got to mature sexually. They never got to learn how to handle those impulses. Tough time of isolation, of being casted out, of being institutionalized, going through and dealing, even with my promiscuity, dealing with these kings after kings after kings. Glory be to God. Going through the same thing. Now, I'm like, okay, why? It's a deeper level than that, because me, I don't give up on a person so easily. I like to understand why you are the way you are. How can I help? You can't help everybody because everybody don't want to be saved. I invested a lot of time. So now we have some kings that come out and they come back into society. And of course, like I said, they try to find their identity in the women that they meet now. So just being a one-woman man just doesn't work. Now we dealing with brokenness. It's deeper than that. Not even able to mature emotionally too as well. So we have men that come out here broken, not able to express themselves emotionally. So now it deters to abuse, expressing themselves physically. And to go forward, a lot of these men who've dealt with mother issues and who also get incarcerated, in some cases develop a hatred for women subconsciously as well, or attraction to the same sex, but get incarcerated for over a long period of time, and now around other men they end up finding comfort in this bond with the same sex. And sometimes it turns into a romantic connection because they've never felt this level or form of intimacy before in their lives. Not ever with a woman, because of that resentment for the woman in their lives that was supposed to nurture them, that was supposed to protect or supposed to give them that love, failed them. It develops subconsciously the resentment for women. So sometimes lines get crossed. And I wouldn't say not crossed in a bad way. Outside looking in, we don't want to just assume, oh, that a lot of women, you get a lot of women and men down talk, oh, that nigga been gay. Oh, no, you been gay, man. That nigga been gay. They just wait to go in jail to show their true selves, and it don't even really be that. There's so many different perspectives than your perspective, or the main perspective that everybody is looking at a situation like. They may have had a attraction to it. Well, I'm not talking about a sexual attraction, but I like dude. You know, best friends, like real close friends, but there's a lot of people that have these thoughts and don't act on it, and you still don't consider that person gay, whether it's woman or male, and they haven't acted on it. So you have straight men that do think about different. Let's talk about it. You want to talk about it? Y'all want to be fake or phony? But once you act it out, now you're considered gay. Understand this, right? Understand this. So a lot of men, they come in there. And I'm not saying this for everybody, though. This is not for everybody. This is something that's why they really get confused and the frustration that goes on in their mind. Because while they're in there, they're like, wait, hold up, wait, I don't like men. This is where the confusion starts at. But understanding that this thing runs so much deeper. It runs deeper. And now we're dealing with not only generational curses because, but we dealing with trauma, scornfulness, bitterness, things that happened, that issues that went unresolved because that woman figure, whoever was, mother, grandmother, auntie, failed to either protect, failed to nurture the one woman that he counted on, who failed him. That can damage future relationships with women. So when he gets in, because now that connection can never be restored, the relationship that he had, or these women that were important in his life, that they can no longer mend, and he's seen the, let's say how it is, that cutthroatness, that being neglected, being abandoned, that built up these walls. Now, how the mind protects, the body doesn't only protect itself physically by growing new skin once we get injured, but it also protects, the mind also protects from trauma too. The mind also knows how to protect itself. That's why some injuries, when you have a concussion in your mind, you can't remember. Because the body knows sometimes if you were to remember that event over and over, or you kept it in your memory, it could do more damage than good. So while these kings are incarcerated, and sometimes these lines get crossed, and now they feel like they're confused. They like, what? Now it's panic. Now it's like, I don't know how to come out and tell the world that this is what I like, or this may not be but this is, I don't know what to describe this feeling is. I don't know how to describe this, and it'd be even hard for them to say it out their mouth. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it, because I need y'all to understand what's really going on. Mental health is real. Emotional trauma is real. When you in those type of environments, it creates cavities in your soul, in your vessel, in your heart. And in those cavities, when you in those desolate places like that, especially being incarcerated for a very long time, you know what inhabits those cavities? Darkness. Demons. Negative energy. Scornfulness. A hatred for women, or hatred for people, period. Like, you working on your own level of subconsciousness, baby. That's all that is.